Oh no. Good afternoon, everyone. We're back. We're doing the review for Running Man today. We watched it last night. So the first few minutes of the video, we'll do the non-spoilers, and then we'll get into the spoilers. Anyway, what did I think of the film? I liked the first half of the film. They were setting up the story. I thought they did a pretty good job. I don't know how I liked the setup of the main character. I thought it was a little on the nose, a little forced. So it was more lighthearted. Although it didn't shy away from being rough. There was blood in the movie. So yeah, so as I said, I liked the world building. It was very 80s inspired, just like the original film. So I like how they kept that touch. So it's supposed to be a futuristic film, but also 80s retro. So I thought it was interesting, and that lent back to the original where they were trying to be futuristic, but it was just really 80s.
I mean, yeah, it's meant to be somewhat in the future, of course. A lot of those 80s films kind of predicted 20 years in the future where we had flying cars and whatnot. They were completely wrong. But
Yeah.
that's what have you. That's the that's I mean, one thing they did get right in the original was this whole generation of overly sensationalism. Like even this film, even though like you said it's on the nose and it's been done before,
Mm.
it's a satirical commentary on how we, the viewers, watch TV. They kind of directly about that, how we in programming and streaming services, what entertains us. It's always up in the ante every year, in sake of drama and sake of exploitation of
Mm.
characters, even violence. I guess. I mean, this is obviously to the point where it's bullcrap. Like, I doubt society will ever get to the point where they allow TV shows where people will die for the
Mm.
sake of entertainment. But it's kind of ironic as because there's even references back to gladiatorial eras. So it's like this film's done this 180, 360 really of set in the future, but we've gone back to the standards of barbarity for the sake of entertainment to control the masses. Um, yeah, so that's probably also again on those. I've only seen the original Schwarzenegger Running Man when I was a kid, probably once or twice, and I feel like that film only was successful because Schwarzenegger was in it. It was not, in my opinion, one of his best films, nor was it just a good film in general. Um, so if I have to compare this one to that, I think this one is an improvement on the original, but it's still a meh for me. Because yeah, I feel like it had a good, strong opening, like you said. I think I wanted to like it more than the end result. Let's talk about the lead actor, but Glenn Powell. I know you've got your history with him, and me too for a lesser extent. As each movie goes on, I'm starting to be discouraged by seeing him in this kind of douchebag role.
Yeah.
Because he set the mantle in terms of a douchey character when I think, pretty much introduced himself on the big screen or to a bigger audience when he played that role in Top Gun.
The douchebag.
They really are the douchebag, yes. They are really trying to turn him into the next big thing, I feel like, because he was in this. He also starred in Twisters last year. I'm not really sure how well that went. In this, I think he's okay. Does he carry the weight of the entire film? Yes and no. Yes, as in he's pretty much the only one that does, and no, because the film kind of falls short at the end. Not to his fault, uh, to the writing's fault, really. I don't know. It's just difficult to describe because I feel like the second half of this film, they just like they ran out of money or something. They lost their budget, so they were extremely limited with an end result, and so a lot of stuff just feels segued, and the ending that we wanted was not shown to us. It was skipped for this other ending, and we'll talk about that in the spoilers. But yeah, I think I'm gonna give it a meh rating. I didn't like it and I didn't hate it, and I feel like the film probably would have been more successful if it was more hated.
Oh, yeah. Instead of just a
Would
meh
I see it
film.
again? No. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's just it's gone unnoticed. It was just a man. If it was extremely bad for all the wrong reasons, it probably would have got more attention for being so bad it's good kind of stuff.
Yeah,
But
but like
because it's just a flatline film, it's just skipped like through anyone's real interest. There was a momentum for the first half, and the second half, the film just hits a wall, and it
yeah,
becomes what is not meant to be this film about this big televised game where at every corner you could get killed with cameras watching you and an audience cheering. It just turned into something else that it wasn't meant to be, and from that point onward, I lost all energy, all investment in the film because it just became so mediocre.
yeah, it's just very mediocre. Um,
Mm,
that's just the thing of it. It was just it wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad film. It just fell flat, and it was just kind of mediocre. Um,
yeah, not
it
that impressive.
yeah. So
Ironically, sorry. Ironically, I think a film like this probably could have benefited if it was a TV series.
I agree. Yeah, and then you could
Yeah,
flesh out
8-part series.
more of the characters because there were characters introduced into this film, almost like it was going to be like a Squid Game type scenario, and then
That's
all
what
of
I thought so
us
too at
with
one point,
different teams and different colors of teams. So I'm like,
right?
oh, here we go. Like I'm liking how they're setting this up. It's almost like a Squid Game, but in the movie, like I could see, oh, this could be like a good franchise. Even I was thinking about the money
Yeah,
in that. This could be a good franchise of a show, Running Man, but they didn't go there. You just it all focused on the main character, and it was just bit by bit by bit, everyone trying to kill him or trying to take a photo of him or something. Oh, spoilers, boys. That's why I didn't want to do spoil. Cut here.
yeah.
Um, but
My thoughts
final
before we run into spoilers.
final thoughts, meh. And I'll give it a rating. I'll give it a, oh boy, 5 out of 10. It's just a 5 out of 10 for me. Just meh.
Same,
It start
same.
off at an
Maybe.
8. It'll start off at an 8 or 9, and then it just went down to like a 5.5. I'll just give it a 5.
Me too.
Anyway, let's talk about a bit more of the spoilers. In the start of the movie, where he made himself, basically he forced his way into the Running Man kind of thing, where there were all these people with these tags, almost like I thought it was going to be like 50 or 100 people trying out. They're all going to be like with it, versing each other or playing, or teaming up or something. But nothing ever happened. It was just him by himself, and
Or like knocking out all the people with by their physical attributes. Like he was the fittest and the strongest, or the most coordinated. Him, her, and the third guy, which he saves from being knocked out of the game, which is kind of ironic because if you let the guy fall, like you wouldn't have been in the game and he would have died. It wouldn't. I mean, unless his fall would have had him killed. I don't know, but that's one of the things I question. Like, what happens to all the other contestants that volunteered for the game? Are they killed on like behind the scenes, or are they allowed to go home?
or
Like,
it was not televised. The only thing that was televised
yeah,
was him. He was like the main. I guess they've made it like, oh, he's the main draw, but they didn't at all expand on how they could have helped each other, or it could have been a lot more interesting, where the trio, they're red. What's the point of them being red and like another group being blue and the other one's being orange, and then they don't even meet each other?
all right. Like the red signifies that they made it into the game, but it's not set up like that at all. It's like you know he's wearing red. He sees her Laughlin wearing red, and she's like, "Hey, hey." It's almost like, "Hey, we're the same
Oh,
team."
we're the same
That's not,
team, and these other teams are standing around us,
yeah. And then we just cut away. Nope, they're the three. They're actually playing the game. No one else is like, oh.
and all
As,
they
that
really,
was like
yeah.
that was like the first time I was like, if it was just like rewritten as the film was going along, because that's what it felt like a lot of the times, especially in the second half. And you mentioned in the non-spoiler area about the tone of the film, how it's satirical and comedic in nature. But the thing is, the beginning of the film, it's not like that at all. It feels like it's going to be this real stern, stoic kind of commentary on how the third class live in a world where they can't even make $5 to like get medicine for their child. It has this tone of like, okay, this is going to be more serious and more gritty, And for like 5 minutes it was, and then all of a sudden it's like, nope, we're gonna have satirical punchlines, we're gonna have satirical this, satirical that, satirical that. I felt like the tone of the film shifted like that throughout it, and it was very bipolar on what we're supposed to be as an audience expressing. Are we meant to be finding this fun and entertaining? Is it meant to be serious? Like, it didn't really have a stick to land on until like, I'm not even gonna say at any single point because it just goes back and forth, back and forth. So it's like having a shower of cold and hot water switching every 2 minutes. I didn't know how to feel about it, so I couldn't really set into the film's vibe at all going through it.
Yeah. Well, he seemed like an angry military boy. He seemed like that just wanted he lost his job, but then he's got like I need to support my family. We're in crisis. I'll do anything for my family. But I don't know. Yeah. I didn't believe it, man. I didn't believe he was a poor, suffering guy. I mean, if he was that poor and suffering, he looks like he's got a jizzle like he got freaking Botox done or something. I don't know.
Yeah, he's going to the gym every second hour.
And I didn't feel his suffering. I didn't feel him suffering, and that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to follow this character throughout the movie and go ups and downs with him, and you know how much he needs it, and you really want him to win the money for his family. Yeah, I don't think they did a good job really building that up to where I gave a shit. It was kind of just like okay, this is his motivation for the show. He needs to. It's like they're setting the movie up, and I feel like it was a little bit bland or a little bit forced.
Extremely templated for sure.
It was templated, yeah, that's the word.
And I didn't like the fact that he willingly volunteers for the game, even though he's kind of coaxed into it. Money, 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 money. But I feel like it would have been a better outcome if he goes to that building, the corporation, where he's trying out for the other game shows. Right? That's what his original intention was. Because he promised his wife he wouldn't do the Running Man. I reckon it would have been better if he goes to the building where he has to wait in line, and that scenario happens that we see where someone in front of him is like having a heart attack, and he's calling for help, and security comes and says, "No talking, get back in the line," and he gets into a fist fight with them, multiple of them. You know what I mean? They eventually subdue him, knock him out, and then he wakes up next to Josh Brolin, and like they're looking at the video footage of him taking out all the security guards. It's like, you're quite capable. We're putting you in the Running Man. No questions asked. They force him into it, and he's like, I don't want to do that. I was like, well, you've just assaulted several officers. It's either this or you're going to get bloody hung, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's forced into it without having the illusion of choice. That would have made a lot more sense for me instead of him going, I promised my wife I will not join the Running Man. Next scene, he's joined the Running Man. It's just like, ugh.
Yes.
It was coming.
But they kind of set it up that way, like, wow, he's a physical specimen. Look at him. And like, we've had millions of people apply for the Running Man, but he's like the special one. They didn't really explain that well, how they found that he was the best. All he did was enter and say, "You guys pissed me off. This world sucks. Fuck you.
Got anger issues.
Fuck you. Yeah. I'm so cool. I got my root finger up." And all of a sudden it's like, "You're gonna make trillions for us." Well, I don't know. Like, make me believe that he's like Josh Brolin gives a fuck about him. Like,
Yeah, well, again, like you said, he doesn't have apparently a military history, even though he's kind of built up that he does. He's just a worker man. He's going from job to job.
He's got a chiseled jawline, and you just know. I can tell he's got a chiseled jawline. Oh yeah, he's going to be the best. He's going to be our best contestant ever.
Yeah, like they've seen his records, why he lost every one of his jobs. Cool, but I mean, like, I'm sure a million other people in this world have done the same thing and lost their jobs.
Yes. See, yeah, it's kind of in the writing, the way because they set it up where, okay, he lost his job and he wants his job back. And there was a kind of a pointless scene. Like, I get it. Like, he was trying to get his job back and he couldn't. So, and it shows, oh, look, he's trying to get his job back and he can't. And he's forced into the Running Man. But at least use his prior experience in the job force to why he actually ends up winning. explain why him working at a factory that he did, how that actually made him physically capable. Instead of just using his job as, oh, he doesn't have it anymore, and he can't get his job anymore, and he's poor, he's on the street. That's all that it really showed.
Or whatever his past jobs are. We get one glimpse of like he used to be working on like an oil rig or something.
And he climbed a ladder really quickly or something.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like if they implemented that throughout the movie, like his past jobs, the experiences that he has in those jobs is what he fundamentally develops in order to win the game, you know, against military tactical guys. That would have been I reckon that would be much more cooler. You know, he's regular Joe past experiences, whether he's working in fucking carpentry or electricians, he's tradie work and all that. All that experience he uses to his advantage to defeat, you know, this big brother is watching you kind of adversaries. I thought that's what they were kind of going to do, but we only do it once. We only do it once where he saves the third guy, even though it's pointless, from falling because he used to work in an oil rig, so he's used to rappelling and he's got upper body strength. Cool. Show more of that as we go along. If he's facing 5 soldiers, I want to see why he is so capable to get out of the situation. Not that it's just on running on pure luck or some ex machina scenario happens where he gets out of it, which is what happens a lot throughout this film. There's a lot of scenarios where it's like he doesn't stand a chance, but by some miracle evaluation or some side character just seems to help him because, hey, you have a chance of winning. He kind of doesn't, because if you didn't help him, he probably would have got killed. But he's apparently selected to become the martyr of the revolution. It's like, but why him? There's not really any significant about him except for the fact, like you said, he does this to the camera. Pretty sure a million others have done it before. Even Laughlin's character does it, you know, and she's just a wild card. She goes into the game just to go to Las Vegas for some stupid reason. Not at all giving a crap about the fact that once they find her, they're going to kill her, which was really stupid in my opinion. Like the 2 other contestants, Laughlin and the third guy, whose name is irrelevant because he pretty much gets killed straight away. Like they know they're going into a game show that they're going to die if they lose, but you know, Laughlin does what she does, which is stay in highly populated areas where there's cameras, doesn't even hide her face. And then you got him, who's just going to a fast food takeout and trying to flirt with the cashier.
Yeah, that's how they die, and they're supposed to know.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's weird.
I thought they were going to implement something. I was waiting for like him to be like, "I'm not this nerd," and then Laughlin, you know, as we see, Laughlin gets killed by 2 kids with a flamethrower, which was funny. But I thought that was staged. I thought it was fake. Like they took her out of the game because she is supporting the main character's, you know, rebellion and all that stuff.
Yes.
Only to have her come back into it later to say, "Oh, I'm still alive," blah 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 blah. But they don't do any of that.
They don't do that. They could have. Yeah, they could have done a lot with. Yeah, they could have done a lot with what they had, and they decided to go the real like neglectful kind of cheapish mundane way.
Oh.
Yeah, like
you said, the first half of the film was great. It was building up to this game, and when the game starts, they got 12 hours to kind of escape as far as they can, and then they have 30 days to survive. It's a cool setup, and I thought the second the game actually starts, I thought for the rest of the movie it was going to be this cat and mouse kind of thing, like sort of like Mad Max, where literally the second half of the film was just a giant car chase. I thought that was going to be with this.
Yes.
But it wasn't, man.
It wasn't like
kind
that.
Of started like that. It kind of started like that, but then it just hits a wall when he meets Michael Cera's character, and he's got this big plan to turn him into the martyr with propaganda machines, hide him in a bunker until the game's over.
Yeah.
Which goes absolutely nowhere because he gets to the destination and then just decides to not go to the safe house because unclear reasons, because there's a whole new landmass of buildings being built, so I guess it's kind of hinted that the safe house is no longer there, but it's a bunker, it's underground. I'm sure it's still there somewhere, and I thought that's what was going to happen. He's going to like start punching through like the floor of a building, and lo and behold, there it is. But no, it's a plot thread that goes absolutely nowhere and is completely forgotten about.
It's forgotten
And
about, and it turns
while
into
I'm
a
thinking
goofball.
about
It turns a bit into a goofy thing in the end, anyway. It turns into like a come in,
Yes.
motherfucker. It's almost like a Home Alone. It turns into a Home Alone kind of the Home Alone movie.
Yeah, which is I don't know what it's trying to be. Is it trying to be like a
Yeah.
intense action John Wick thing, or is it meant to be satirical, like a freaking Guardians of the Galaxy kind of thing? I just couldn't follow what kind of tone the film was supposed to be set in. Because it flips. Like
Yes.
at one point, the main character's being jokeful. He's making punchlines. He's trying to be humorous. Then the next thing, he's like reminded of his wife. He's reminded of his daughter, and he's like upset about it. It's just, and then he's angry about it. Yeah, it was very, very bipolar film, and while I'm thinking about it, they kind of kept hinting that Glenn Powell's character that he was highly resistant to like electricity because there's like 2 or 3 scenes in the film where he gets smacked with like a stun baton, but he literally catches it with his hand and it does barely nothing to him. You know what I mean? It's a freaking electrical prod, but like
Yes.
he's like he's holding it, he's resistant, and he manages to fight back. Again, that goes absolutely nowhere. I was waiting for him to explain why he's so resilient to electricity.
Because he's so angry. He's the angry guy.
That's not how electricity works.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? It was just like that was a visual narrative I thought was going to follow through, and it doesn't.
It doesn't. Also, how they made him the angry guy. I did not believe him as the angry guy. Like that was such a forced thing.
Really angry.
Yeah, but it was forced into it. He seemed like he's more worried about his kids and scared of dying. Then he makes it out like, he gets into a scenario where he almost dies. It's like, ha, motherfucker, you ain't gonna get me. It's like, I don't know.
He's acting like anyone else really would in that situation if your child and wife were threatened. Like, there's nothing special about his anger. He's in a shitty situation just like everyone else.
And he's putting it on.
I didn't get that at all.
It's like he's putting on an angry face to get more views. But it's like, why is he doing that? He shouldn't really care about the views anyway. He's getting paid what he's getting paid.
Yeah.
I don't know. That I said
the character that's going to be angry. They should have just had Mel Gibson in the film.
I said the first half of the film was good, and that was mainly how they set up the Running Man. I thought that was done well. I thought how that it was done with his family in the start. It wasn't a good way for us to be with him or understand him as a character. I feel like the first 20 or 30 minutes of the film, or the first 15 minutes of the film, would be him working at an oil rig and shit going down, and him actually like, him as a working the oil rig, and something happens where they blame him and then he loses his job. But you spent 15 minutes with him in the massive catastrophe that happened at work, and then you think, oh, okay, he's very capable. But no, that we didn't see him be capable. We saw him just like, I lost my job and my wife is angry at me and I don't want her to work at this place because there's weirdos over there and they might touch you. And then he's like, let me sign up for this TV show. I didn't believe it. And then I didn't really love him. I didn't really care if he survived or not. They try to make him very... No, they want you to care about him, but they didn't do it a good way. They could have done it in a way where we actually cared about him as a character. That everything that happens to him happens. We're like, oh shit, that was close. Or even it was supposedly the record was 29 days. A guy survived 29 days. So I thought there was going to be something special about that. Like, all right, we made it through the first week, the second week, third week, and then but the whole movie didn't really show where they were in the running game. All of a sudden, it's 2 days through. Then next scene, it's like 2 weeks through it. There was no real a system, of the direction. Yeah, and also the progression. Also, the cliffhanger was really bad in the end. They didn't show where he was like, all right, congratulations, you made the Running Man. Here's your $1 billion. Nothing like that happened. I don't know.
Didn't finish the game. They
Yeah,
crashed the plane before he could finish the game because they gave him the ultimatum to become the new hunter. Like, yeah, it was such a rushed ending, man. And they have this stupid segue with like the podcast conspiracy theorist guy. And that took me right out of whatever interest I was left with, man. It was just like he's explaining
oh
it's
yeah,
all bullcrap because you see this video, it's all, I guess they're kind of winking at AI videos and all that stuff. Like, if that was this, if I don't understand how this guy's still in the air, I'm pretty sure if these guys were capable of finding, you know, in this future where they have this military kind of distinction of Big Brother, I'm pretty sure they'd be able to find this guy's podcast and get it off the air. Again, it's just another scenario I didn't believe. But it felt so like they're out of budget, so we're just going to have this podcast to explain the bullcrap and have that final ending where they're, it's season 7 of The Running Man, and obviously the crowd are angry because they don't believe the show anymore. They know it's all fabricated and manufactured. And
yes,
then, lo and behold, they're, what do they call him? The initiator, the martyr, the V for Vendetta character, which is, you know, Glenn Powell's character. He's still alive, and he comes and kills Josh Brolin with a pistol, and that is the ending of the film. It felt so damn rushed. Like, you had a good. I mean, at the wrong time of this film was nearly what, 2.5 hours. I get that, but that ending was so Michael Bayish, man. It's just
yeah,
like they really could have. Like, I disagree with a lot of TV shows, but this one really could have done a better job if it had like a, what they call it, a mini series, which just goes for one season,
yeah,
maybe 8 episodes, to flesh out this game, to flesh out the stuff that he gets involved with. Maybe have one episode based on him, one episode on Laughlin, one episode on the third guy before he gets killed. Um, but yeah, it really could have done itself a big service if it was a TV show, which I'm pretty sure most of the fan base these days would have been more drawn to. Because unfortunately, we have a general population now that enjoy TV shows more than going to the cinema. And as a result, as we saw, there's only 8 people in a cinema that should have held about 80 people.
yeah,
It's embarrassing, man. Um, yeah. So a bland ending, anticlimactic ending, rushed ending, uh, a very very boring villain. Just the man in the suit who's puppeteering everything, only for his big plan to fall on him. We've seen it all before.
yeah.
And that's
The
not.
writing, it was the
You go.
writing.
You go.
Yeah, it wasn't intelligently explained. They had everything there. They had all the bits and pieces were there. It's just the way
Yeah,
they went about it was just so boring.
absolutely. And I don't want to. I want to give one brief message because, funny enough, she's in the on this casting list. She's the second in casting, Amelia Jones. Um, so at about the third act of the film, where it starts to hit this wall, we get introduced to a new character who pretty much becomes a key plot thread of the film. Amelia Jones's character, which is the character he hijacks
Yeah,
at gunpoint to drive off. And it felt so like, shouldn't this character have been introduced at the beginning of the film?
yeah. They
Because
fit.
all of a sudden they're having this big moment of like, oh, you're the criminal, you're the one they're trying to kill, and then like next scene later, she's like, oh, I just realized the government's the villains, you're the good guy. It was like, where the hell did this all come from? And this is leading us to the final act of the film. Again, another scene that just felt so out of place and rushed. Like they were supposed to have
Like,
this big car chase or
yeah,
something, but they ran out of budget. Because that's what it should have happened. It should have been a massive car chase of something, of him trying to get back to wherever he was going, and all the military guys getting frustrated with him because he's beaten them at the game. And Josh Brolin and this guy watching it all happen because look at the ratings this guy's providing. Look at this. Look at the carnage. Amazing. But instead, we get this hollow new character that we need to explain everything to. And I need to convince you to like me within 20 seconds of the film's runtime. And you're also going to be a hostage on the plane. Like, she was set up to be like the Sandra Bullock to Keanu Reeves in Speed. That's what it felt like to me.
mm,
And like, it felt like the first draft that was stuck and forgotten about and added in during the third draft where they, wait a minute, oh, that's right, we forgot. We gave him a wife. So what's the point of having this girl character in it?
Yeah. Like they right. Like they have all these notes. Like we need to have like a possible love interest. That's another girl, but that never happened. Like there was no love interest at all. But
No,
they had
there's no chemistry, but that's the setup.
yeah. I don't know. Like they didn't know where to
What's-
put bits and pieces. They had 50 dot points, and they're like, oh, where do we put her? Oh, just shove her in the end somewhere or something.
The very end, because it's going to have such an impact to the film. It would have been hilarious if they're going to go with satirical nature. At the very get-go of the game, when, Glenn's got 12 hours to get to a safe house of some sort or hide, it would have been funny if it was a running gag where everything he does somehow revolves around that woman. Like, at the beginning of the race, he steals something from her. And then later on, he has to steal a car or, steal a phone or when he's running away, he smacks into her apartment and she happens to be there. Just this constant running gag of shit always happening to her,
Yeah.
and then have that follow through as a payoff. That would have made a lot more sense to introduce a character like that. But instead, it just comes out of left field, and we have to have this big expositional little follow through with her. Like, don't you understand? The government of the system is the enemy, not me.
It's so
Blah, blah,
awkward.
blah, blah, blah,
It was
blah.
awkward.
Speech. Yeah.
And then she changes and
Placement.
she's like, she learns, she learns, yes, I was very naive, and now I have grown in this 5 minutes. I have grown into a, that was pointless. Like,
Thank you, man who hijacked my car and had a gun to my face. I completely trust you within 30 minutes of a car ride.
and all that was kind of explained throughout the themes of the movie anyway. I feel like she wasn't necessary, or you said she was a key. She was a key to the whole thing.
For the rest of the plot thread that happened, she was, because
Right.
she's used as a hostage to get into the plane. So she has some kind of significance to the character, because through her she realizes, he's the good guy. But it falls flat because all of a sudden, she flies out of the plane. We never see her again. There's no follow through.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's our review. We'll see you on the next video, everyone. Bye now. Yeah.
Like, you fuckers, I'm still alive. Yeah.